All right, let's talk about one of the most common but maybe most misunderstood words in the entire Bible, the heart. When you hear the word heart, what do you think of? For most of us, it's about feelings, maybe romance, that kind of thing. But when we open up the biblical sources, we find a concept that is so much deeper and way more comprehensive than how we use the word today.
And we know this is a huge deal just by how often it shows up. The word heart appears nearly 1,000 times. That's a lot. It's a massive sign that this is a central, absolutely critical theme we need to get our heads around.
So, what does the Bible actually mean by heart? Well, it's not just your emotions. A better way to think about it is like the command center for your entire being. It's the control room, your personal headquarters, where everything happens, your thinking, feeling, choosing, all of it.
So let's break that down. What does this command center actually do? The Bible is super creative here. It doesn't just give a dry definition. It uses all these powerful metaphors to show us what the heart is all about.
And here's what's so fascinating. We tend to separate everything, right? Like the brain is for thinking, the heart is for feeling. The biblical view just collapses all of that. The heart is the storehouse for your memories. It's the factory where you make your plans. It's the soil where ideas grow. It's your moral compass. And yeah, it's also where you feel your deepest joys and sorrows. It does it all.
But here's the twist. Because the heart is so important, it's also the site of our deepest problems. The Bible doesn't paint this picture of a perfect, well-oiled machine. Instead, it describes the heart as a constant internal battleground.
This verse from Jeremiah, wow, it just gets right to the point. That word deceitful is so interesting. In the original Hebrew, it's actually related to the name Jacob, which means trickster. The message is that our own heart is the ultimate trickster, and it's so sick that the text itself basically throws its hands up and asks, who can even figure this thing out?
We usually worry that other people can't see what's really in our hearts. But the Bible says, hold on, the bigger problem is that you can't see what's in your own heart. We think we know ourselves, but so often our own motivations are a total mystery to us. We're kind of strangers to our own command center.
So, how does this all play out? Well, the Bible frames this story of the broken heart as a kind of journey away from home. And you can see it perfectly in that famous parable of the prodigal son.
And here's the great paradox, the real irony of it all. The heart's own foolish choices lead to a life of ruin. But instead of looking in the mirror, what does it do? It gets angry and rages against the very God it walked away from.
And this decline isn't a sudden drop. It's a tragic, step-by-step process. The sources even describe it as a decreation. It starts with wandering, then the heart hardens, like stone. Then it gets dark, then it becomes empty and bitter, until it reaches this final, terrifying state of being without a heart, a total void. This completely reframes the whole idea of sin, doesn't it? It's not just about breaking a few rules. It's the fundamental unraveling of who we are, right from the core. It is, literally, creation in reverse, a slow slide from order back into chaos.
But that void is not where the story ends. The central promise of the whole biblical narrative isn't about patching up that old broken heart. It's something way more radical, the creation of a completely new one.
And this is where you see just how dramatic the transformation is. It's a move from a heart of stone, hard, dead, closed off, to a heart of flesh. And flesh here doesn't mean weak, it means it's alive. It's soft, responsive, and finally able to actually connect with God. So look, this isn't a promise of a minor renovation. This is a promise of a heart transplant. It's a complete recreation, a divine intervention that gives us something the old heart could never, ever produce on its own.
And what's so beautiful is how this whole idea echoes the original creation story. Just like God spoke light into the darkness in Genesis, the promise is that God will shine a new light into the darkness of the human heart, filling it with His presence.
So what does life actually look like when it's lived from this new, recreated command center? What are the signs? What are its characteristics?
Well, a life lived from the new heart is finally a life that's whole. It's united, no longer at war with itself. It's peaceful, giving you a kind of stability that just wasn't there before. It's anchored. And it's not boring. It's burning with passion and purpose. But at the same time, it's wise and it's humble. It's finally working the way it was always meant to.
So, after this whole journey, we're left with this one simple but really profound idea. The Bible says the heart is the most honest mirror we have. So the question we have to ask ourselves is,
What does your mirror reflect today?